Selma. How you doing?
Fine.
Okay. So we've been trying to set this interview up for like a couple months now.
Yes.
Finally got a chance to do it. You have an interesting story, a very interesting story, and I want to get right into it. So can you just tell me where you're from originally?
I'm originally from Muskegon, Michigan,
Okay. What year were you born?
1981.
Okay. So what was it like growing up in Muskegon in the 80s and 90s?
In my era, it was fun. It was fun, dangerous, and memorable, to say the least.
Okay. How was your childhood growing up?
uh, I didn't have a bad raise like my parents and stuff. My mom was a drug dealer, so she went to prison, and I ended up staying with my grandmother, which didn't really. She couldn't handle me and my brother, so I basically did what I wanted to do. So I got into a lot of trouble growing up. I was a delinquent.
Okay. So what about your dad? Was he around?
No, actually, my real father, I just got acquainted with when I got out of prison. My my brother's dad, he kind of raised me, but he ended up going to prison as well. So I really didn't have a father figure.
Okay. So growing up with your grandmother, how long did your mom go to prison for?
She did, I want to say like 3 or 4 years the first time she went. And then after that, she went for something involving me, but about 3 or 4 years her first time.
Okay. So you was pretty much exposed to like drugs and stuff like really early.
Yes.
Okay. Did you ever deal with drugs yourself?
I smoked marijuana,
Mm.
but anything else, no. Well, I get to that part when we get to that part of the story, but at that age, it was only marijuana and liquor.
Okay. All right. And what about like? Because you said your grandmother couldn't really control you guys. So I'm assuming you was like really into the streets and stuff like that.
Yeah, I ran away a lot. I didn't have to. Like, it wasn't rough at my house. I wasn't not loved or didn't have support. I I think I just liked it being in the streets and doing what I wanted to do. I can't really explain why, but I mean, I liked it. So I wanted to be there instead of there.
Yeah, like the excitement of the streets.
Yeah.
Okay. So what type of things were you getting into besides when you ran away?
I was stealing cars. I tried selling dope. That didn't work for me. Um, and just the whole party scenery, going out, drinking and stuff like that. I was young and I thought that was so exciting.
What age would you say he was around this time when he was running away partying?
I started at 12. I started running away at 12.
Really? Do you think it was just like a result of just your mom not being around, kind of missing her? Or?
I don't want to put that all off on her because, like I said, it wasn't like, even when she wasn't there, she made sure that we were taken care of and she talked to us or whatever. And, I was old enough to understand what was going on with her. I think I'm just going to have to own up and take that was all me. I was just being stupid and wanting to be out there because I really didn't have a reason to have to be out there.
Okay. What about school? Would you go to school at all or no?
I was going to school, but then I dropped out. I stopped going around 13 or 14. I was missing a lot of classes, and then they had threatened my mom to lock her up if I didn't go to school. That's when they had started that new little law with kids if they weren't going to school. Um, and so I started going back, but I got expelled because I missed so many classes and got caught with a knife at school and stuff. So I had to go to an alternative school, which I stopped going altogether. So about 14, I stopped going to school.
Okay. So I know you was living with your grandmother. So when your mom got out of prison, you guys were able to just go back with her, or did she come with you guys to your grandmother?
We was staying with my grandmother.
Okay. All right. So I guess the big event in your life, because from the age of like 1 to like 14, 15, you were just kind of living reckless, and there was something that happened in March of 1997, March 1st. Could you tell me about that?
Yes. I had met this gentleman. I ain't gonna call him no gentleman. This man, he was a boy then, named Dante, and he was like my. I was like in love with him, so I was doing anything he wanted me to do. So he was a stick up kid, to say the least. He liked it to rob people, and I had met these Detroit boys at the store one day, and we was flirting, talking stuff. I was with my friend named Chandra Keenan at the time, and we had arranged to meet up with them later. And once we met up with them, I had came to the knowledge of what they was up here for, and what they were in Muskegon for. They was up there selling drugs. So once I peeped out what they had and all that stuff, I ended up telling Dante about it, and he wanted to rob them. So I was all for it. I didn't dispute it or nothing, but he didn't. Dante didn't have like no guns or nothing. He only stuck up like stores or roughed a person up for their stuff. So I introduced him to a man named Man. His real name is Tyrone Williams. And he was the one who had the guns. So they ended up talking and figuring out if they was gonna do the lick together. So they agreed on it or whatever, and we met up, we talked about it, and we planned it. And was like, when the next time they come up there, this one it was gonna happen. Well, after we had met with the Detroit boys, they was supposed to go back to Detroit to pick up some weight to bring back up here. Okay, so they were going back to Detroit to come back to Muskegon to sell their drugs. So once they came back, they called us to link up with them. They wanted us to come over there, and they was letting us know that they was back or whatever. So we planned to go over there. And it was another girl named Juanita who was involved, but she didn't know nothing that was going on. Chandra was the only one who knew exactly what was about to happen. So once we got over there, we was sitting over there talking, playing, doing the most, getting high and all that type of stuff. And Man had, at that time we had pagers. So Man had paged me. So I ended up calling home, and the plan was for us to get out of the house before they came. But I was there to kind of basically let him know the setup of the house, like where the back door was, how many people was in there, and what they had. So when he paged me, I called home, I gave him the information, and after that I hung up. I went and told Chandra, like, we gotta go. And I told Juanita, we gotta go. Like, I gotta go babysit my brother. My mama finna leave. That's why I said I called home. So when we got outside, Chandra was acting, I don't know what she was thinking about, but she kept staying in the house, and she knew what was going on, and she wouldn't leave. So me and Juanita and this dude named Shorty, that was the guy that got killed. We all went outside in the driveway, and we was standing there, and I seen Man car drive past, and Clyde Wilson was driving. So they drove past, went, and I seen them turn the corner, but then when I turned and looked to the side of the house, I seen them standing over there, but I act like I didn't see them. And Shorty was like, if anything happened, y'all run. So before I could turn back around, Man was walking up, and he just shot him. He didn't say nothing. He didn't say it's a stick up, give me the stuff, it's a robbery. He didn't say anything. He just shot him. And I just took off running. By the time I got around the corner, I seen Man's car sitting there, and we jumped in it, me and Chandra. By that time, Chandra had made it out the house, and it was just gunfire just kept going off, and people was running and hollering and talking. So at this point, we in the car, and we driving around, and we like picking up everybody that's involved. I got 6 co-defendants, by the way. So we picking up everybody that's involved because they running in different places. We get back to my house. We go upstairs in my room, and we all sitting up in there, and everybody quiet. Nobody want to say nothing. Then my phone rang. And it was like, did you call the police department? And I'm like, no, I didn't. And I hung up the phone. So I tell everybody, like, the police department just called. And so everybody started getting frantic and going crazy. And man is threatening Chandra in the bathroom. Of course, he has her in the bathroom, telling her if she say anything, asking her what she know. Do she know who shot who? And questions like that. And telling her if she say anything, he gonna kill her. And so everybody ends up leaving my house. So at this time now, the police is on it. They keep calling my house because they want to know why my phone number was attached to the people's phone because I called home. So they know I was there. They know I had something to do with it. So at first the story was it was some dudes from off of Amityville, which is a part of Muskegon. So and they was trying to put it off on them, but Chandra and Clyde Wilson end up basically telling what happened. So then it became every man for themselves.
Okay. So when you were setting it up, were you supposed to get something out of it, or were you just doing it because you were just in love with the dude you was with?
I definitely was gonna get something out of it if things would have went the way that they were supposed to be. I wasn't just doing it like that for him. I was just down for him.
Okay. So they basically just put up and just didn't even go with the plan. They just started shooting instantly.
Yes, and I recently found out that Tyrone, because I have been in contact with some of my co-defendants since I've been home and when I was incarcerated. Um, he told me that he did it out of mere jealousy. I don't really know if I believe that story, but he said it was out of jealousy. So I don't know if it was supposed to be a robbery at first and then turned into something else, but I don't know. I just know what happened that day, and nobody ever said give me nothing. And you shot this boy, and then you went and chased the other dude. I don't know what Man and Damien and them was doing at the time that this was happening because there was only two people there besides us girls.
How old were your co-defendants at the time when this happened? Roughly.
I was 15. Man was 20 something. Dante was 18 or 19. Clyde, I think Clyde was the oldest one out of all of us. I think he was like 23. And Damon, I believe, was 19 or 20. That's roughly.
Okay, so after you guys have this, well, one, how many people end up getting shot or killed that day?
One boy got killed, which was Shorty, and Face is the one that got injured and got shot.
Okay, so you didn't. So when the gunshots first went off, you didn't get to see who got hit. You just got out of there.
I seen Shorty get shot. I didn't see Face get shot. I seen Shorty get shot.
Okay. So after you guys find out the police is kind of on you guys, what do you do next?
Well, now at that point, everybody trying to get their story together. Everybody's trying to make sure that everybody's saying the right thing. And if you get talked to, we ended up even meeting up at Man house like afterwards. And I had found out that he had a wire on. The whole time we meeting up at his house trying to, I don't know what they call themselves talking about. Now that I've gotten older, I don't even understand what was the purpose of linking up like that. But it was basically just to ask what the police had said to who, what did you tell them, and this, that, and the other.
So they started pulling you guys in for questioning?
Yes, my mom sent me to Ben Harbor with my aunt because she was in fear that Man was going to do something to me because she found out that he was threatening Chandra. So she sent me to Ben Harbor with my aunt, and they ended up coming and arresting me out there.
So your mom knew what had happened? Like you told her exactly?
Yes, my mom knew about it before and after.
So
that's why
you guys were going to rob them?
Yes, that's why she got charged as an accessory after the fact because she knew about it and she helped me get away basically.
That's crazy. So, so you said they arrest you in Ben Harbor.
Yes, they came and arrested me basically not on them charges. They came and arrested me on a truancy warrant for not going to school. That was the only way they could pick me up because they didn't have enough evidence to really pick none of us up. But they was trying to, get us all there. You know how they do. They try to get you up there and then get something else going on, and that's what they did because they didn't have enough evidence to arrest us all.
Okay, and you said that one of the guys was ignoring the wire.
Yeah, we had met up like after the first meeting at my house after it happened. Everybody was frantic and going their own separate ways, trying to stay away from each other so that didn't nobody know that we all knew each other like that. And all of a sudden, man calling like, I need everybody to meet up at my house. I didn't think nothing of it. I'm like, okay, bet. So I tell the people I know, he reach out to the people he know, and we all meet up at his house, and we all over there talking about it. Like, did you talk to the police? What did the police say to you? What have you said? What do you know? And then, we left. It was nothing but come to find out during court procedures, he had a wire on.
Okay, so kind of tell me, what did you understand at 14, 15, like the extent of what you guys had did? Like, did you guys know at the time that somebody had died, or?
I didn't. I'm not. No, I didn't understand the extent. In my mind, I was thinking, what had happened? I'm young. They gonna slap me on the wrist, and I'm gonna go home. I never really took the time to think about the importance of that boy's life until I got locked up.
Okay. So let's talk about when you get to the station and everything, like the whole court procedure starts happening. Like what starts off with that? Like, what did you guys?
After they picked me up in Ben Harbor, they had me locked up in the youth home for like a week or so.
No paper down.
And after that, after they did that, they took me to the county building. And they told me that they was about to arraign me. Thank you. They told me that they were about to arraign me on first-degree murder with conspiracy to commit armed robbery. So I'm in the line waiting to get arraigned, but I'm study hearing my mama voice. I hear Dante's voice. I'm hearing everybody's voice. So I started looking down and we all in the line to go get arraigned. So I'm like, oh my God, this is really finna happen. This is really real. So we get in the courtroom and they ended up arraigning me on first-degree murder with conspiracy to commit armed robbery. Man and them was arraigned on first-degree murder and armed robbery charges and felony firearm. And my mama was an accessory after the fact, habitual, and what else did she get charged with? It was something else. She had a list of charges. And Chandra had the same charges I had. They waived our rights as juveniles and straight charged us as adults. She ended up getting still charged as a juvenile because at the time her aunt was the mayor, so she had a little leeway. Yeah, I don't remember her name at the time, her aunt's name, but she was the mayor and she ended up helping her out. But it didn't help me. Her family was mad at me anyway.
Okay, so you guys get arraigned. I'm assuming you get a lawyer and stuff. What type of things are they telling you?
I had a court-appointed attorney. He just told me basically it was in my best interest to take the plea deal they was offering, which was second-degree murder, and they told me that it wouldn't carry no more up to 25, and I was looking at maybe, I think he told me at the time I was looking at like 11 years and so forth. My tail would be a little higher, but that's not what they ended up giving me. They ended up sentencing me to 18 to 50, and they gave my mom, I can't remember how much time she got exactly, but she ended up coming to prison with me and doing like 6 months, and then she went on tether.
And what is that?
Tether is like one of them ankle monitors.
Oh, house arrest?
Yeah.
Okay, so at what age did you get sentenced? Was it how fast did the trial happen? Or?
I was in the county for a whole year. So I was 15, so it was a whole year. I didn't end up getting sentenced until after I turned 16, and then I got sent to the prison.
Okay, so at 16, you're hearing these numbers, like, even though, like, in the grand scheme of things, I guess 11 years, you said 11 years, that's, in the grand scheme of things, it's kind of like a small number, but still, like, just to hear those numbers at that age, like, what is, like, going through your head, like, okay, I'm gonna have to go to prison. And you're going as an adult, correct?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yep, they didn't hold me up at all. When I was in the county building, they had me in like this West Max area. It was only 2 cells. And they called it like it was for people who came in there at 17, 18 and stuff like that if they put them in there. So I was in there for like a whole year. I didn't see the outside for a whole year. I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know if it was day or if it was nighttime, nothing. And they kept me down there. The day that they sentenced me, they put me in general population in the county jail. And that morning, they rolled me out. And I don't even, when I got sentenced, I went deaf in the courtroom. Once he said the Department of Corrections, I think I went deaf because I didn't even know how much time I had. When I got on the elevator, I asked the guard, what did he say? And he told me. And I went nuts on the elevator. I think that's why they moved me to general population. I think they thought I was going to do something to myself.
Wow, that's crazy. So, kind of tell me what it's like. Everybody's heard the prison stories and stuff like that, but I think I want to hear exactly like how your experience was as basically a kid going to an adult prison.
When I first got there, I was scared, confused, and like I was like in the clouds. Like I didn't know like what the rest of my life was about to be. Like in my mind, I'm thinking like by the time I even get to go home, the world gonna be done came to an end. Like you thinking like 2011, who knew it was gonna make it to 2023? But I'm like, the world gonna become I was like, this is where I'm gonna die at. That's what I'm thinking. And then I think I just sat down, I prayed, and I just told myself, you just gonna have to suck it up and do it. Like, make the best of it. Don't, in my mind I said, I'm not gonna let the time do me, I'm gonna do it. So, it's bad. I don't ever want nobody to feel like that's someplace you need to be or whatever, but it's, you have to make it be what you want it to be, and that's what I did. I didn't sit and be depressed every day. I had my moments. When I wanted to go home so bad, but I didn't sit in there and be depressed. It's like a world in itself. You still got drugs in there. People have sex in there. Like it's the same thing as if you out in the world. You just don't have your freedom.
Okay, so what was that first night like for you?
The first night, I cried the whole night. I didn't eat nothing, and then when they was bringing the food, it was so horrible. My first night there, they was serving baked fish and Brussels sprouts, and I just was like, I can't eat this. I was like, what am I gonna do? I'm fat. I'm gonna need some motherfucking food. This not gonna work for me. And then my cousin was in there, Maria, and she ended up sending me some cigarettes, some junk food. And so I was kind of relieved about that. And I was also worried, like, I don't know nobody in here. Like, what am I about to do? But my cousin Maria kind of helped me, like, my first week or month there, because she ended up getting transferred to a whole nother prison. But she helped me out. She told me a lot of stuff I needed to know. She showed me where the law library was. She was helping me kind of, like, look into my case, appealing it, and trying to see if I could get my time lessened. And then I just ended up doing what I do. I'm a people's person, so I just start like trying to feel people out, because you always think like in prison it's the worst people in there, the worst. Like just evil people. And don't get me wrong, it is a few people in there like that, but I done met some real motherfuckers in there. Motherfuckers that are more like my family than my family is. So it ain't all bad. And then doing all that time in there, I got close to a lot of people.
Okay. Was there any, did you fighting a lot in there?
I got into 2 fights in there. In the women's prison, it's not, they fight, but they more catty. They gonna write kites and tell on you and try to get you locked up or set you up and try to take away your out date or something like that or get you put in sick. They ain't too quick to fight.
Okay. So were you, when you're, how much time did you end up doing ultimately?
Ultimately, I ended up doing 16 years.
Okay. Okay, and what was your original sentence again?
18 to 50.
Okay, so you actually got out a little early.
I was supposed to got out a little earlier than that. I ended up losing my good time because I had went to SEG so much and got so many tickets. Like I said, when I first went in there, I did the bit the way I wanted to. And, it's in there, they tell you when to go to the bathroom, how to go to the bathroom, what time you got to be in your room. You can't wear this. You can't have this. It's just so many rules. And I just wasn't listening to them. So I got a lot of DDOs. I went to SEG a lot, not for fighting, but for having too many tickets. Or I went one time for fighting. Or having contraband. So I lost a lot of my good time. And like once I had I had done like 8 years, I was like, you gotta stop. I had to humble myself. So I started doing stuff like I got my GED in there. I took college classes, culinary art school. So I started to do things to try to make good of my time, which would be really rehabilitate myself, because they don't do it for you. Like they put you in this program and it's supposed to help you when you get out here. I forget what it's called, the pre-release program. But the program be a bunch of bullshit. It be for the department to get the money for it, because they don't really help you. Like you get out here, they give you all this stuff. Like when I was in culinary art school, the lady was telling me like when you get out, it's this, she had gave me this paper with this number on it to be able to use to go to help me get a job or whatever. And they gave us these lists of places that was supposed to hire felons that's felony friendly when you get out here. That'd be a bunch of bullshit. They don't do that.
Mm-hmm. So, what about your last day? What was your last day in prison like? Did you know? Well, actually, let me go back a little bit because I had 2 different questions.
Okay.
In females' prison, do you guys have like gangs in there, like male prisons, or is it not set up the same?
No, it's not set up the same. Like you have your people that kind of click up, like you'll know who the child molesters are because it's like they all hang together. Mm-hmm. But other than that, you'll have like a few Mexicans that just click up, but for real, it's not no gang type stuff.
Okay, and then what about like having to walk around with knives and stuff? Did you have that a lot or no?
No, now you have a couple women who might walk around with a razor in their mouth or a lock or something, but you really don't want to be walking around with that, because if you get caught with it, you're going to sag off rip. So, no, they didn't do that. It was mostly in their room. Now, if they knew they was about to do something or about to fight, then yeah, but they don't just walk around with it for protection because they ain't trying to save they ass. They good. They trying to give it to whoever chasing them.
Yeah. So, what was the craziest thing you experienced and ever seen?
Actually, I was a part of it. It was this girl, my best friend, Tamara Bush. We was in there and she was messing with this girl who was getting packages off the visit. And she had got a package and one of the girls in the unit had stole it and sold it. So we literally went into the girl room, robbed her room, while they was at lunchtime, and we ended up getting done with the little robbery. We goes to lunch, and then Mama beat her up right there in the chow hall, and the girl went to SEG. It was just, everything was happening so fast. But it really wasn't no crazy stuff that ever went down there. And I mean, people done crazy stuff in SEG. I've seen a lot of people do crazy stuff, but I ain't never been in nothing real wild in there like that.
Okay. So, like, while you were in there, you said you wanted to have the time, like, you wanted to do the time. Did you look at this kind of like a crazy school? Or, like, did you kind of forget about the outside
It started like a college campus. To me, that's what it was. Like, I was off at boarding school or something. But as the time went on and they started taking stuff away from us and implementing new rules and making the time harder on us, then I realized, like, oh, this prison.
Okay. So, you ended up doing 16 years. You went in at 16. So, what was it like when you, like, your last day?
My last day there, I was like really nervous and anxious. I was so ready to go. And it was like, once they tell you like you about to go, you sit up at the control center, you be like in that waiting room. I sat up there for like 2 hours waiting for them to process my paperwork for me to leave. And once I got out and I walked out the door, I just was like, inhaled. It was like the air was different. Everything was so different. And I was very emotional. I didn't know, like, leaving certain people behind, and it was amazing. I can say that the feeling was very amazing. I was just so happy to finally be home.
Okay. So, do you feel like you grew in there? Because I hear the saying a lot that when you go to prison, like, time freezes for you. So you kind of, if you go in as a kid, you kind of come out as a kid.
Yep, and I did. When I heard that, I was like, "Shit, I ain't finna be like that." But it's very true. It's like you be stagnant, and then when I got out here, it was like I instantly wanted to revert back to what I knew, like, cause I didn't know nothing else. I'm coming out here, everything is so different. People are different. I'm thinking I'm weird, like, and the people around me, like, I can't relate to. I was calling them free world people at the moment. I'm like, I don't even know how to relate to these people. Like, I felt kind of lost, so I kind of reverted back to what I knew. So I wanted to hang out all the time instead of actually sitting down and getting my shit together, because I'm 33 now. Like, I'm not a child, I'm grown. Like, I got shit I gotta do. I gotta have a place to stay. I gotta have a job. I gotta get a car. I wasn't even thinking about that type of shit. Like, I'm like, I want to go here. I want to go there. I've been locked up this long. I'm not sitting down. That's where my head was at. And to me, that was immature, because you're not a kid no more. Like, you can't do that.
Okay. And so what year did you get out?
In 2013.
Okay. And you went in what year?
97. It happened in 98. I went to prison.
Okay. So when you go in prison, there's like no internet really, cell phones, and then you come out. Is all of this like overwhelming for you, or did you adapt to it pretty quickly?
At first, it was kind of overwhelming, but the surrounding that I had, like my mom, my friends and stuff, they kind of helped me not make it be so overwhelming. Because when I first got out, I had a Burberry phone. What do you call those? Yeah, Blueberry. It was real little. It had all the little digits and shit on it. That's the kind of phone I had. Then I ended up getting a regular phone. So I ain't gonna say it was frustrating, because I like to like figure stuff out like that. I sit and try to figure something out all day if I can't. So that part wasn't frustrating. That was kind of interesting for me. What was very frustrating for me was trying to find employment. That's what started off so hard, because no place want to hire you. And then if you lie on the application and don't say it, you get in there, you working, you a good worker, you doing the job, but they ended up doing background check and then you get fired. Like, I went through that so many times.
That's crazy. So, but you ultimately ended up figuring out.
Yeah. I don't think I give myself enough credit, but then again, I don't feel like it's any credit to really be given because I've been out here since 2013. It's so many things that I feel like I should have done, but like I told you when I first got out, I was on some other shit and I had to snap myself back. So now I kind of be feeling like it's so much stuff that I should have done, like responsible wise. Like I got a car, I'm renting, or whatever, but I think I just should have been in a better place. Or I should have done more being what I've been through.
And do you have kids?
No.
Okay. Yeah, it's crazy to think because when you went in, you never got to experience like things we consider little, like prom, graduation.
Yes, I never did that.
Yeah, that is just crazy to think. And you have never had kids. So, have you ever been married?
I'm actually married to a woman right now. I ended up marrying a girl that I was messing around with in prison.
Okay. Is she still in prison or she's out?
No, we live together. We stay in the house. Her name Takesha Ellis.
Okay. Did you end up, when you got out of prison, did you end up going back to Muskegon at any point?
Yes, I paroled to Muskegon, and then I was living there for a while with my mom, and then me and Keisha ended up moving together out there. She ended up coming down there, and we found the place, and then we ended up moving back up here.
Okay. And have you ever run into any of the victims or their family or talked to them since then?
I actually ran into one of the victims before I got incarcerated. When my mom was sending me to Ben Harbor, I took the bus. And when I got on the bus, I'm on there, and here he come walking on the bus. I instantly start freaking the fuck out because I'm like, why is he on this bus? Like, do he know that I had something to do with it? That's what I'm thinking. So I instantly called my mom, and she like, get off the bus. She was like, we gonna have to change your route or whatever. And he trying to get me to go to Detroit with him, and I'm like, no. Like, I'm about to go to my cousin's house. I don't tell him my destination or nothing. I'm just like, I'm about to go to my cousin's house. And I was like, that shit was weird that happened, and I don't know what's going on, so I'm getting away. And my mom ended up making me get off the bus, and I had to rechange my whole bus. But that's the only one I've saw. I've seen Chandra, I've seen Clyde and Dante and Man, and Damon is still locked up.
Did they end up getting life or?
Yes. Man got life without parole. I mean, life without parole, I believe, or just straight life. I'm not sure. And Damon got life as well. Dante ended up getting 40 to 75, but when he was in the county building, he tried to escape, and they beat up the guard very, very bad. And so he ended up getting another 10 to 15 tagged onto his sentence. Now, he done did some shit up in the prison with some drugs. He got a whole Fed case going on. So it's I don't know what's going on. I haven't talked to him in a long time.
Well, just to finish it out, what advice do you have for any young female that might be in the same position that you were in then, or thinking about making a decision based off of who they're with?
Don't do it. Put yourself first, and prison ain't where it's at, and loving somebody to the point where you do stupid stuff to mess up your life, it's not worth it. Be your own person. Know what you want. And if you are entangled in some type of situation like that, be smart and value yourself, because a lot of women don't.
Okay. Well, I appreciate you telling us your story. It's interesting.
Thank you.
I really wish you the best of luck in life.
Thank you.
But you look like you're doing good, so
Thank you.
All right.